Welcome to KP Law News. This next story is not out of New Orleans, believe it or not. The last three videos came out of New Orleans about the New Orleans PD. So go check out my last three crazy videos there. So this one comes out of Knoxville, Tennessee. And a new term I never heard before called tumbleweed cops. And, you know, they're the cops that get fired from one agency and move right on to the next one. And you get fired, they resign before the investigation is over. And they just keep moving on, moving on, moving on. So East Tennessee, Knoxville, Tennessee area is where this video comes out of. So let's check it out.
Live by that motto, but tonight we explore what happens when they don't.
Senior investigative producer John North and I dug into how some troubled officers keep moving from one department to another and the impact that can have on public trust and safety. They're officers who've made headlines for all the wrong reasons. In the case of Ray Faircloth, he is set to stand trial for the homicide of John Anthony Cox, whom he shot 4 times during a domestic disturbance call in Morgan County back in May. The questions about Faircloth's fitness as a law enforcement officer surfaced long before that. As a Jefferson County deputy from 2005 to 2008, he was reprimanded multiple times for safety violations, disrespect, and insubordination before abruptly leaving the department. Then Sheriff David Davenport wrote in Faircloth's termination letter, "Ray, you are an intelligent young man, but I don't believe you belong in police work."
No.
Faircloth would go on to be hired several more times for jobs requiring a badge and a gun. He joined the Anderson County Sheriff's Department in 2009, where he was suspended twice before resigning. He was hired, then fired by the Tennessee Highway Patrol in 2012 for unsatisfactory performance during his initial probationary period. Then came the Oak Ridge Police Department, where he was suspended several times and placed on administrative leave for excessive force before eventually resigning.
I think it most certainly is a problem.
Attorney and former prosecutor Nate Ogle says Faircloth is an example of a so-called wandering officer. They're law enforcement job jumpers moving from agency to agency, often finding new jobs in smaller departments that often face 2 challenges: fewer applicants and a lack of resources to properly vet the pool of potential hires.
And when that happens, it can erode public trust and cause major problems in those jurisdictions.
Case in point, former Tennessee Highway Patrol trooper Isaiah Lloyd. He was investigated for inappropriately touching a woman during a traffic stop in 2017. He quit before he could be fired and was suspended for 2 years by the Peace Officer Standards and Training Commission, which certifies officers. Lloyd was hired by the La Follette Police Department in 2023, but was placed on leave without pay and then resigned earlier this year following an alleged domestic dispute with his wife. He was hired in August by the Union County Sheriff's Department.
Oh, my goodness.
Given his troubled history at THP, Attorney General for the 7th District, Dave Clark, took the rare and dramatic step of refusing to prosecute cases investigated by Officer Lloyd, citing concerns about his credibility.
It's better to identify a problem employee before that problem becomes yours.
David Moore with the UT Municipal Technical Advisory Service says Tennessee has no standardized hiring protocol for law enforcement officers. The Post Commission sets only basic requirements: age, citizenship, education, background check, training, and certification. He urges those who hire law enforcement officers to dig deeper into an officer's past.
Number one, would that officer be eligible for rehire at your agency? Number two, what kind of personnel record did that officer develop while they were at your agency? And can we have a copy of those documents? And number three, can we talk to the direct supervisor?
Whatever it takes. That's the burden we bear as a leader of an agency. You have to do those background checks to hire solid people.
State Representative and Executive Director of the UT Law Enforcement Innovation Center, Rick Scarborough, used to hire officers at the Clinton Police Department. As the former police chief, he made background checks a priority.
We'll check the references that they provide, and then you would take those as maybe a starting point, and then you may go down the street and talk to individuals that work there. And then if I'm checking with Robin and John about that person's background, what do you think about them? Could you recommend 2 or 3 people I could go visit and talk to?
Bad hires not only put the profession at risk, but also the public.
Yeah.
They knew that I didn't shoot this guy, but they still carried it on.
Consider the case of Tyrone Ferguson, wrongfully accused in a road rage case investigated by then Monroe County Detective Daniel Schneider. Before that, Schneider was fired from the Harriman Police Department after lying about a chase that killed someone. In another case, Ashton Lambert worked in law enforcement in North Carolina, where he struck and killed a pedestrian while responding to a call with his lights off. After a brief stint at the Knox County Sheriff's Office, he was hired as a deputy in Union County. Video captured his use of excessive force, tasing a woman. Lambert was fired thereafter.
The only thing you have is your credibility. And when that credibility is gone, you're not a valuable police officer anymore.
All 3 experts agree. Police agencies must do more to keep an officer with a troubled record from cycling through jobs. For Nate Ogle, that would ideally include a comprehensive paper trail that stays with an officer across their career.
But I think there needs to be more thorough information available from the officer's past, perhaps some requirement of an actual full scope of their history in law enforcement, and that be provided to each and every agency to whom they apply. That way the agency is aware of what they're getting into and they hire this individual, and also prosecutors and defense attorneys would have access to that if it becomes important during the course of a case.
But David Moore says right now, those personnel files aren't always easy to access because of liability concerns.
What do you mean liability concerns?
Each law enforcement officer takes an oath to protect and serve. When they don't, Moore says their fellow officers and the public all pay the price.
When we make bad decisions that result in bad circumstances, it doesn't just affect our agency and our community. It affects our entire profession and every community in the United States.
Yeah.
And Robin, explain the national efforts that we have seen to track officers and their job performance.
That's right. In 2022, the Biden administration actually created a national law enforcement accountability database to focus on issues, including hiring and training. It also was to collect records of officers' misconduct, awards, commendations. But on President Trump's first day in office, he did away with that database. You can read more on our investigation right now at WBIR.com, and another story coming up on.
There you have it. Tumbleweed cops, or as they use another term in this story, wandering cops. I like the phrase or the name Tumbleweed cops, because they float around from agency to agency. That's crazy, man. I don't know. That stuff has to stop. That's all there is to it. So, what y'all think about this situation? Let me know down in the comment section. I appreciate everybody watching. Everybody have a good day. KP Law News out.